Hey guys, Marsengan here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be looking at the TEQ CAULIFLA, who has her EZA in-game now on Global, along with Kefla and all of the other sub-EZAs. Going to be checking her out, of course, on the Kale team. We're going to slowly but surely showcase these different units. I'll probably do STR Kale next and have CAULIFLA on the team and slowly build up to what will be the new version of Kale's team, which should be very, very good. I already did the private server showcase for Kefla, so I have got her on the team. I'm not going to do a solo showcase for her again, but we will be taking her into some of the tougher events. I do want to try her out against Zamasu and Omega. She should be pretty good. But yeah, we're all about TEQ CAULIFLA for this showcase. So she is infinitely stacking attack and defense on super and doing supreme damage. And then, of course, she has attack and defense 160, additional attack, defense, and chance to dodge 8% per Universe 6 or Peppy Gal's ally on the team. And those should stack, right? So if we look at our team build, if it's 8% per ally, we already have a full Universe 6 team. So with 7 characters, including the friend, that's already a 56% chance to dodge. But on the team build that we have currently, 5 of those units are also Peppy Gal's characters. So that in and of itself would be a 40% chance to dodge, which means that from that passive, with the way it stacks, she has a 96% chance to dodge. So it's one of those things where she's always been kind of like a meme unit where it's like, you know, anytime there's an EZA or a Super Battle Road or anything like that where you're fighting a Pure Saiyan or a Universe Survival Saga enemy, it's like, well, just bring TEQ CAULIFLA because she can't be touched. But actually, on the right team build, like if one more unit on this team was a Peppy Gal, like for example, when we do the STR Kale showcase and I replace probably Bota Magetta with Kale, the passive dodge that she gets from having those allies on the team, her dodge is going to go over 100%. Which means that now, essentially, as long as you're running her on the right team with enough Universe 6 and Peppy Gal's allies, she has a 100% chance to dodge in every single event. So she's gone from being a character that you can run in certain events as like a basically guaranteed spot tank because she can't take any damage, to being a unit that you can run in any event, and as long as you've got the right like team build, she won't take any damage, and she's also actually able to do some relatively decent numbers. So I didn't look at her start of turn 1 defense. I did have the team menu up a couple of times, so you will have been able to see it if you want to take another look. I really should have actually highlighted it specifically, but we'll see what she's looking like on the second turn, because she does have a 2 stacks now. That's the other thing. If there's a Kale on the rotation, she gets some buffs, including an additional super. I should have really finished fully reading out her passive before we just carried on with the turn. But, you know, excited to get going and see what this team can do. It's just so crazy. Like, she's been a unit that any EZA, because I don't need to. I've got so much Zenny and all the Zenny statues in the world. But I farm all the EZAs up to stage 100 just as something to do. And any ones that are Pure Saiyan or Universe Survival Saga, you just put her on the team, because then later on, you know, when the enemies are actually doing some real damage, she can't be hit at all. And I'm so used to seeing her doing like around 1 million attack stat. And so now, for her to actually have her EZA and not just be this absolute defensive beast with the right team build, she's actually also able to actually do some damage as well, which is of course very nice. So got Champa here for the Universe 6 support, floating him around, and let's see what we're looking like here now. So CAULIFLA obviously is like the slot 1 partner that Kale has kind of always wanted, right? Being able to protect her until she transforms. So she has all that extra dodge as well as crit chance, attack and defense. So bear in mind as well, that's an extra, what did we say it was, like 96%? That's an extra 96% attack and defense that she gets as well. Then obviously if there is a Universe Survival Saga or Pure Saiyan ally, she has a 100% chance to dodge. She gives all allies 16% attack for 2 turns after she's evaded 6 or more attacks, as long as you have basically a full Universe 6 team. It's kind of a weird one. You have to dodge 6 times and then the buff is only for 2 turns, but it's a nice little bit of extra, especially if she is going to be in slot 1. Like, for example, if she dodges every attack on this turn... Oh, he's healing. If only that was an attack. I was going to say, I think she's been attacked 3 times so far. Her buff would then go on to Kale in slot 2 and allow her to hit harder, which would obviously be quite cool. But that's just a little extra bonus thrown in. I'm not going to really quibble over it. It'll be useful sometimes. Other times you won't see it at all, but that's fine. And then she gets an additional attack 160 and launches an additional super when there's an ally whose name includes Kale in the same turn. So best build for her is going to be full additional because she just will pretty much dodge everything all the time anyway and put the rest into crit. I never gave these guys any skill orbs, which obviously I'll probably add in by the time we get to doing the full team showcase. I probably would just go full additional with her because getting those extra stacks will obviously be very helpful. So at the start of the second turn, she's already at 329 defense, 329k. Bearing in mind, of course, she only has like a 4% chance to ever actually get hit, which is kind of crazy. So let's go ahead and see how we go here. So we're up to 5.48 on her attack. Now, that's not a crazy attack stat, of course, considering what we are seeing nowadays from certain units. But I feel like, you know, she was never about the damage. Her attack stat didn't matter because she wasn't there for damage. She was there to not get hit. And that's obviously still her role even now. So for a unit that is essentially providing you, unless you get really unlucky, although like I said, on this build, it's like a 4%. If we change Bota Magetta or Champa for another Pepigal unit, then her dodge will be 100%. So there's no danger of her being hit. So she's still essentially a free pass in that slot in terms of damage. But then she's also able to do like 5 million attack stats. I mean, it's not the craziest damage in the world, but I'll take it on top of her not being able to be damaged. And then, of course, if she does get the hidden potential as well, then that's a third super. And she is infinitely stacking. So while her attack isn't increasing by a crazy amount with each attack, it is still going up each time. So obviously she has the potential to get to a decent number if you're in a long enough event. If she does get some extra additionals and things like that, then she certainly could look very, very good. So now we're going to have Kefla transform. I guess, yeah, we've just been floating Kefla, so showcase not really for her. We've already seen her go ham in her own video. I'm not going to transform with Bota Magetta because we just want to see... not Bota Magetta, with Kale. Her transformation is she only gets like the buff for a certain couple of turns, and so there's no point transforming her straight away. Plus, you know, the showcase isn't for her. I don't want her going crazy and getting us through these last little bits too quickly. But we should see what kind of damage Kefla can do on this rotation, though, against Cell. I imagine this will be pretty good. And remember, that Caulifla support, if you do get it, if you get the 6 dodges, it's for 2 turns. So if we had gotten an extra attack in the last one and Cell hadn't healed in that slot and had just attacked and she dodged, and that was attack number 6, that would be extra attack support, not just for Kale, but also for Kefla, who, of course, as we've already seen from her showcase, is able to go pretty crazy once she... I don't know, I was going to say once she gets going, but she's able to be pretty crazy straight away. So I'm expecting we might actually even finish off Cell this turn, depending on whether we get crits, because obviously Kefla has type disadvantage. But yeah, 14.8 million on the first super. We've got a guaranteed additional super coming. 15.7. Okay. So yeah, pretty good. Mine has a pretty decent amount of additional as well. So can we get the third super here? We do. 16.6. Yeesh. Alright, so look at that. Oh boy, that's a lot of damage. Now this is the dodge that really counts, right? The super attack from the big cell. This should be the 6th attack here. So in fact, if we go ahead and let's transform Kale now. Their links don't change, so we've still got the 5 links active here. Pretty good. Go ahead and do this, and then grab these for you. Actually, wait, no, their links do change, don't they? Because doesn't she lose Berserker? Is it... Which link does she get? Is it saying Lineage? Because I think, actually, we only had 4 links active before, didn't we? Alright, Super Saiyan instead of Berserker, which Caulifla doesn't have. Well, there you go. Yeah, let's do this. Now, this is where the 4% chance not coming through would actually be devastating, right? Because this super does a lot of damage. But now she's up to 7.2 million. Now, again, this is with the support from Champa, though. But then we get a guaranteed additional. So she's just dropped 15 million attack stats worth of attacks whilst being unable to take damage. And then did an additional. So 22.5, nearly 23 million attack stat worth of damage with a crit there for good measure. So, I mean, it's hard not to say that on the right team build, she unironically might be one of the best EZAs just for overall utility, right? Like, I wouldn't have put her high on a TUR tier list pre-EZA because she's not really doing any damage. She didn't have quite as high a dodge chance. You could still get, if you had a like full Universe 6 Peppy Gals team, you could still get a pretty significant amount of dodge on her. But now, with the right team build, unless I'm completely mistaken and it doesn't stack, but I did say in the when we did the STR Kefla showcase, I did run her on that team build then. And I did mention it in that video that if anyone knew to let me know, and I've not heard. Like, I think it stacks. I mean, she's dodged every single attack in the run so far. So if it didn't stack, the highest number was from just having a full Universe 6 team, which was, what, 56%? So if it doesn't stack, we've just been very, very lucky that every single 56% chance has come in clutch. But yeah, I believe it does stack. So on the right team build, she can't be hit as long as the enemy doesn't disable dodge. She's doing at least 2 supers per turn if you have Kayle, which are doing like minimum 5 million attack, and then slowly but surely building up from there. And then you saw that last turn, right? We got the additional from the hidden potential, triple super, over 22 million attack stats worth of damage, with the inability to take any damage herself, which I think is the thing that really like makes it crazy. So I'm going to do an EZA tier list soon, because obviously Kefla would be quite high on there as well. But like unironically, I think CAULIFLA is going to be very high. I'm very interested to see what Kayle is going to do, because Kayle is stacking. She's the more defensive one based on actual tanking. Like, she has the guard if you have a CAULIFLA on rotation. So she's going to be very interesting. Like, that rotation of just the two together would be super good. But, I mean, obviously for Kayle, it's a bit weird for Kayle's team, because you kind of want a Kayle and a CAULIFLA together, but you want this AGL Kayle on rotation. So the rotation of her and STR Kayle doesn't really work. And unless you're going to be floating like another, like a CAULIFLA, if you've got enough CAULIFLAs to have one floating on like every single rotation, then that could potentially work. But there you go. I mean, 100% dodge rate for the entire run. 6.3 million when there's no support on the rotation is pretty good. The other thing to bear in mind as well, which we may have had last turn, we did have extra support, so maybe not. But remember, if her 6th dodge that's then going to activate the 16% attack for 2 turns, I'll double check that it didn't say self-excluded, but it means if that 6th dodge is in slot 1 before she attacks, then that support would activate and she would get the extra attack percentage herself as well before she then attacks in that turn, which of course would be very beneficial. So if the attacks fall in the right way, that you can get that 6th dodge in slot 1 before she attacks, then she would buff herself, as long as it doesn't say self-excluded. So we'll take a look here. But yeah, CAULIFLA, super, super good. Like I said, on the right team build, can't be touched, does pretty decent damage, is the slot 1 unit that Kayle desperately needed for her team to kind of protect her until she gets her transformation. So let's see. Yeah, all allies 16% for 2 turns. Yeah, it doesn't say self-excluded. So let's go ahead and throw a sticker on her. I forgot to do it before the showcase, so we'll have it in at the end here. She doesn't have a particularly crazy card like effect, so I don't imagine, yeah, it's not very good. But there you go. The card is very good itself. Kayle's team going to be one of the best, well, I say one of the best, but one of the top tier teams on Global by the time all these EZAs are done and you've put that team together. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.